Okay. All right. So this is the first ever podcast of Deep Roots. The idea behind the podcast is to talk to entrepreneurs, whether they've been in the game for a long time or whether they've been in the game just a short time, and kind of go over the different experiences that they have to offer. Anybody who's new into the game, maybe experiences that would, that they just want to kind of throw out there for anybody who is just questioning things, has any advice, whatever it ends up being. So today I am with Tyler LaChapelle. Tyler, what business do you run?
I run digitally optimized systems to marketing, also known as DOS-M.
Okay. And then what is the generic scope of the work that you do?
I like to refer to it as digital optimizations as a whole for businesses. So whether that's for, like I said in my business name, systems to marketing, pretty much applying what I know as something like a tech geek to all aspects of their business from a digital perspective.
I like it. All right. So if you're cool with it, I have a few questions that I wanted to go over. Maybe that'd spark a couple of conversation pieces. Assuming it would be about 30 to 40 minutes. And we both have our wine, so we should be good to go. You ready to dive in?
Yes,
All
cheers
right.
to
Cheers
that.
to that.
Well, I think before we jump into the questions, though, we should give the listeners or viewers a little background.
Okay.
Like Matt and I started our first business together 10 years ago.
I don't know if they need to know that business. It was,
Hey,
hey, you
it
know
was
what?
technically a success, and we almost got expelled from school from it.
It was a success because we did what most people had no idea what it was 10 years ago. And at this point, I think it has to be like 10 or 12 years ago. But we
Yeah,
did
we're
print
old.
on demand before print on demand was a thing.
Yeah. With our senior class tees. I mean, I just wish that maybe Grammarly existed back then.
Well, it wouldn't have helped, trust me. There was a lot of spelling mistakes that were just people's names. Jake without the E. I thought it was the cool way to spell Jake at the time. But even though I'd known the kid for my entire life.
We made
Um,
a few bucks off of it, though.
we
So,
did.
success.
For anybody listening, the basic premise that we made, and we thought we were geniuses, which honestly, it was pretty smart for kids who had no idea what they were doing, was we collected the money first. And anybody who's familiar with print on demand knows how this works. But we collected the money first. We got a tally of how many shirts we needed. We went to a printer and we said, "This is how many shirts we require. Can you do it?" And then we gave them the money based on the sales, got the shirts, and distributed the shirts around school. Now, the reason why we got in so much trouble was because we weren't sanctioned by the school to do this.
And they tried to throw gambling at us
Did
because
they?
we were doing a lottery because an incentive to
Oh,
get
yeah.
people to buy the shirts. We went out to local businesses,
Yeah.
got gift cards from them that said like, "Hey, do you want to get exposure?" Because we even made sponsorship spots
Yeah,
on
we
these
even
shirts for
did
them.
sponsorships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because we had a raffle where you bought a shirt, you were entered in this raffle for the gift cards.
Yep.
The school counted that as gambling, which was like a felony for schools or whatever, and they were
Hmm.
like, "This is ridiculous. You can't be doing this."
Yeah.
So we got to keep the
Honestly,
gift cards.
it was our senior year, and the fact that they didn't, like, literally, I remember getting pulled into the office and she was like, "We are going to expel you and not allow you to walk across if you," because I was going after a teacher who was our biggest naysayer, I would say, in the game.
Yep.
And he was being unprofessional. And at this time, it was, honestly, we were experiencing everything at such a young age.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Like,
really dipping our toes in the water for
absolutely.
business.
We were destined for it. They say the first thing that you make your money, like the first dollar you make, is what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And I think design and those t-shirts was the first thing I made money on. So,
Yeah. Marketing strategy, business plan. Like,
yeah, I should
here
have
we
put
are
that.
now. Crazy to think about how
Yeah.
far we've come.
So just remind the viewers again what business you work for and how they can reach you.
Yeah, so you can reach me by going to my website. It's dos-m.com. Try to keep it as simple as possible. I've been changing my social media user handles pretty frequently, so I'm not going to put those out because they're subject to change.
Right.
But Tyler at dos-m.com is a great way to email me, but feel free to reach out on the website as well for all
Awesome.
your digital optimization needs.
So now that they know our story from the past and they're ready to go, we're going to jump into the first question, which is when did you realize that it was time to give up the 9 to 5 and start your own business? What was your story?
Yeah, so I had a really I was fortunate because I met a traditional marketing genius. The guy was just a marketer at heart. Like he understood how to market yourself, everything that you can do. Like it's not just advertising, it's how a customer experiences their entire journey with your business. So from trying to find you, getting exposed to you, to dealing with you, to even the follow up, like after something's been completed. And this is for a painting company out in Denver, Colorado. So I helped him from the digital perspective of helping him build websites, build Google AdWords campaigns, and I was really fortunate because this guy just saw scalability. So we started doing this with other painting contractors across the nation, and before you knew it, before I knew it, I was the digital marketing director for this agency, helping people or helping my team work with these painting contractors and pretty much just getting them to the point of where we were at as a business. So it was fulfilling. I enjoyed what I did, but it reached a certain point at further along after about 2 years of doing it, where I just realized I was pursuing someone else's dream
Right.
rather than pursuing my own dream. And because we ended up launching a something called the Pro Painter Network. You can visit it online. I mean, nothing but success for my previous boss. Like I think he's the best, and I think what they're doing is amazing for the painting industry. But the slogan for that Pro Painter Network was "Live the life you love." And I was hearing it over and over and over again, each and every day. And I was like, I like what I do, but I'm just not thrilled about the industry that I'm in. Like I was attracted to it originally. Like the reason why I drove across the nation for this job was because this guy, his tagline for his business, Walls by Design, his slogan was "Artists by heart, painters by trade." And I
Yeah.
really resonated with the fact that he was hiring actual artists that made art that I thought was cool, and he was like helping them like pursue their passions while still having a career. And that's what drew me to that. And once we got further away from that, and I was just dealing with all walks of life, I just realized that this wasn't exactly what I wanted to be doing. And at the same time, I was just getting a bunch of tattoos, and I realized that my skill set helping painting contractors was easily transferable to the tattoo industry, which
And
is something I
that's,
was much more passionate about.
yeah, that's what you're focusing on right now, right? That's the tattoo industry.
Yeah, so I mean, I like to say I work with everyone, but I specifically go after and niche into tattoo artists, tattooers, piercing shops.
Yeah. Now I know why you went across, but can you tell us how you found this gig? Because I always love that story.
So I mean, I'm currently in my parents' basement, but at the time I was in my parents' basement. Um, I was just playing video games 24/7, going for that League of Legends ranked, going for gold.
Yeah.
And it just hit me one day. I was like, I can't be doing this for the rest of my life. Like I cannot just be sitting here playing video games. I mean, at least it's different now where I'm chasing a business, so I can justify it in that
Right.
regard. But
Right.
back then, I just hit a wall where I was just like, I can't be doing this. I just turned 21, I think, or something. Yeah, I was just about to turn 22. And I was just like, all right, I need to find something. So I went on Craigslist and I was looking everywhere. I was looking like up in Maine. I was looking
Yeah.
pretty much anywhere that weed was legal at the time.
Yeah.
'Cause this is back where weed wasn't like the
Yeah.
thing it is that we know
Before
now.
Massachusetts was legal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I used to have really bad anxiety about smoking in places where it wasn't legal. So I was
Right.
looking for jobs in like Oregon, Washington, California, Denver, and that's how I ended up finding this Craigslist posting. Was
Right.
someone posted on Craigslist in Denver saying that they were looking for a digital marketing apprentice to turn digital marketing guru. Like that was the tagline. So it caught my attention, and the copy in the ad was just really interesting. It just sounded like a really unique opportunity. And I had a conversation with the guy. He told me about the painters by trade, artists at heart thing, and I was drawn to it. I was like, this speaks to me. Let's go take a shot, because I was applying to like standard sales marketing jobs at
Right.
like solar companies, and I was just like, oh no, the corporate world is not for me. Something small, something. I mean, I didn't know this when I took the job, but I was going to be working out of this dude's basement.
Yeah.
And I found out while I was halfway across America, driving through Nebraska, that I was going to be going to go work out of this dude's basement. And I just remember thinking like, oh God, I might die. This dude might
I know.
murder.
Yeah, I know. We were kind of concerned about it because you like to cut to the chase when you tell us news, and you were like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go work in this guy's basement. He has a startup company," and Addison and I were kind of like, "Oh shit!" Like
This might be the last
this
thing I
might
ever see of
be.
him.
We better go out in style because we're never gonna see Tyler again.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I even texted my mom like the
yeah,
first like week. Like I was like, if I don't respond by this time, something happened. Call the cops because I was
yep,
literally like, what? But the dude was a sweetheart. Like the
yeah.
dude just he grew up having where his parents had like an at-home office, and he was just used to this kind of thing. He didn't see anything weird with it. But I was just like, oh God.
Yeah. And we're
This is how
definitely
horror movies
not
start.
condoning just going after Craigslist ads. I think you should definitely do your research and
I
figure
think I
out if
got
things are,
lucky. I
yeah,
mean, Matt and I both always say like you create your own luck, but
absolutely.
in some regards, I very much could have created my own misfortune with
Right.
that.
I lived, I lived the philosophy of when you take risks, you are rewarded.
Mhm.
And I recently just got an email from my old boss that just said, make sure when you're taking risks that you're taking educated risks. You're not just like leaping blindly into the fury. I know I had the best interaction when I took a risk and went to Australia. I got lucky with an internship that set me up with an amazing opportunity, but I would have never, like, I was scared shitless to go by myself across the entire world. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that
yeah.
risk was so worth it. And
It's one of my favorite quotes where it's like, inaction breeds doubt, which breeds fear.
yeah,
And courage is what inspires you to grow.
right.
Going out and taking those risks. Because if you don't take those risks, it very much limits you in terms of like your growth potential.
Absolutely. Especially in business, you're going to run into a bunch of times where you're going to need to take risks.
Yeah.
And that's where the educated risk comes in my opinion. Um, if it's just you, you can you can take a risk and it's fine. Like it is what it is. Obviously you want to be educated and not lose your business. But like when you have employees and everything like that, and their livelihood is on your shoulders, that's like a whole different story. And
Yeah.
eventually, we're all gonna get there. We're gonna have that our first employee, and that person's gonna be looking to you for guidance because you're the leader. You're the
Yeah.
man who's hitting the drums and moving them forward to their success. And I feel like businessmen kind of forget about that. They get lost in that.
Yeah, they very much get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, once you've taken like a bunch of risks where it's had like a payout, and that's just something I experienced with like my previous boss. It's just like they just start to take a lot of risks,
Yeah.
and some of them you're like, I don't know how well that's going to turn out, and then
Yep.
some of them really bite you in the butt, and you get the short end of the stick
Yep.
because you're the employee.
Yep. I know my previous work environment was the gentleman would take the risk similar to what you said, and then it would all fall on the shoulders of one person. And I remember
Hmm.
seeing this person like break down
Yeah,
because she had so much on her shoulders. And I reached out to her and I said, "Can I help you?" And she said, "Yes, please." And I started taking work off of her shoulders, and I was told to never do that again. And
yeah.
I was like, I was so amazed that this woman is literally asking me for help, and I was told to stay away from her. She is the one that needs to do it. And I was like, I don't, these are like those are the decisions that just confuse me. But
Yeah.
um, so my next question is, what advice can you give to someone who's stuck in their current job and wants to go out on their own, but maybe doesn't have the confidence or the tools to do so?
I mean, the biggest piece of advice I'd give is like, and I've learned this one from Gary Vee. Like that's why I'm in my parents' basement right now. Is you have to suffer if you're gonna take risks, especially something like this. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's very like it's nice having a stable income. It's nice having like that security, that sense of like that there's gonna be a paycheck kind of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when you're just starting out, none of that's guaranteed.
Yep.
Like so very much just understanding that this is going to be a time where you have to suffer for the greater reward at the end.
Right.
And who knows if that reward will come. You have to be confident in the fact that that will happen. So, I mean, my greatest piece of advice is just really understanding like yourself, know where your breaking points are, know what that like define that success of what you're looking for, and be prepared to trudge through the mud to get there.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Absolutely. That's like, in TikTok, there's a money side to TikTok, and it talks about there's just people flashing cash, like showing bank accounts, like flashing $300,000 six-figure income that they're getting from all these like different Ponzi schemes, and they make it look so easy, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is once I started this digital marketing agency, my timeline got filled like with all these advertisements of like startup gurus. We'll build your business. We'll bring in leads, and it's like,
Absolutely.
you guys are full of fucking crap. I don't know if I can share. Feel free to bleep that out.
I don't know if you can either. We're gonna go for it.
But I mean, it's just, but that's the kind of stuff that you very much have to tune out. Like you have to understand that this is false. Like what you see on like social media through advertisements or stuff like that, it's not actually the truth. Like everyone knows about like the Instagram plane where like people go to make it look like they have a private jet. Like that's what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
There's very few authentic people. And that's how we like to run our businesses is we're authentic. We'll tell you the truth in the sense of like, hey, like we don't have a fancy plane. Like we're doing this because we want to do this. We want to help people.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what helps you build trust with clients. Like you essentially can't fake your personality. You have to be authentic.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I know I was recording a TikTok the other day, and it was about gems, and I scanned my phone across my collection, and I set it up, I sent it out, and I showed it to my girlfriend, and she's like, "You can't do that." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" And she's like, "TikTok's all about the look, and you have empty spaces on your shelf. That makes it look like your collection is incomplete or not as good. It's not full. You can't do that." And I was like, crap, she's probably right. Like,
yeah. The thing about social media is it's very vain.
Yeah.
Like it's
100%.
extremely vain. Like it appeals to the ego. It's built for the ego. It's a very like, I mean, personally, I can't stand social media. I'm literally only there because my business thrives on it.
I know.
It's where everyone is. That's the sad reality of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to have a following. The world, and this comes straight from my girlfriend as well, the world is going to turn into influencers and in consumers. And that's what it's going to be. You're going to have the people who are at the top of the food chain, and they're, they're influencing all these people below them through millions of followers on Instagram, on TikTok, on whatever the newest platform is going to be. And you're going to have the people who are the consumers who are just buying these things over. And then the third one, I would say, is the marketers, the people who push the influencers further. And that's where we come in. Our job is ever changing all the time. You constantly have to keep up with what's going on so you understand what's working, what's old, and what's not, to make sure your clients are getting the best service. And that goes back to what you're saying, clarity with your clients.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, just like, I personally don't experience TikTok, and that limits me dramatically because that's just one platform I don't understand for the opportunity, and that's where the youngest demographic is.
Right.
So I mean, eventually at some point when I realize, okay, this is something that my tattoo artist clients could really benefit from, that's something where I take the time to learn more. Fortunately, Instagram has been the thing right now, but still, Instagram has a new update, at least quarterly, that introduces a new feature. You have to get familiar with that feature to understand the platform and the algorithm to the fullest extent.
Yeah. And then the worst part about social media is when you get ghosted and like you don't even know about it. So like if a company has a social media platform and you're just not getting the return that you're expecting to get, you have to assume that there's something going on. Like maybe they were posting, they stopped posting, and they eventually got ghosted. And now you have to start from scratch, or maybe it's better to just start from scratch anyway, so you can control those metrics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's so many different things with the algorithm that
Yeah.
it just makes it like that much more complicated.
And something I just want to throw out there is there's no hack to the algorithm.
Yeah,
Like you can't hack
absolutely.
the algorithm. You have to play to the algorithm's rules. It's the
Would
only
yeah.
way to
Would you
get to
say
it.
it's pay to win?
I I I would say pay to win is a strategy,
Right.
or you can truly win the lottery in the sense of like getting exposure organically. I mean, it's pretty much like a numbers game where
Yeah.
you have to like what I tell my clients when I'm doing like an Instagram strategy session is that you have to be producing top tier content
Mm-hmm.
consistently. Like
Yep.
it's got to be like because like I said before, it's very vain. So you got to be producing top tier quality content and you got to be doing it at a very regular rapid pace.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be consistent and it's got to be very consistent. Like it can't be like once a day is like the bare minimum
Yeah.
kind of thing. And you can't just be like, all right, did my post and done. You have to engage with the platform because the algorithm isn't going to want to favor someone who's only there to get the likes and then peace out. Like they want
Yeah.
someone that engages it with it as well. So
Yep.
it's a very intensive strategy to play it in the organic sense.
Yep.
Or you can throw money behind it and then you can catch up. Like
Yeah.
it's either or. So
Yeah. I know. One of the tips that I found online was in, if you're, let's say, tattooing is your market, you should be engaging with other people's content, at least for 30 minutes out of your day.
yeah,
Just engaging with the stuff that relates to what you're doing. In your case,
especially right
tattooing.
after you post.
Yes.
So like that first 30 minutes after you post is like the most crucial 30 minutes. Like that's why it bugs me sometimes because like my clients don't understand how the algorithm essentially works. And I
Mm-hmm.
had a sales the other day where this guy was saying like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind paying $25 a week for someone to post my content and take my Instagram to the next level. And I'm like, you really don't understand how much time it's going to take for me to bring it to that level. Like, sure, I can come up with the hashtag, sure, I can do the posts and take care of all that stuff. But I mean, to actually pay for the service at what you want, it's not going to justify the cost of it.
Yeah.
Like, you're much better off like boosting a post and putting money in that way than
Yeah.
you are to like pay for someone to pay me to sit there on your Instagram. Like, it just doesn't make economical sense.
Yeah. I know there are people who actually get paid strictly to do Instagram accounts.
That stuff blows my mind. And props to those people that do it.
Yeah.
Like,
They get, I mean, they make money, and it sounds like such a simple job. They just have to create content. But I mean, that's the hardest part about anything is creating content.
yeah, one of my best friends from college, she's an Instagram influencer, someone
Yeah.
that has over like 100K followers. And she, I mean, with the recent Instagram updates, like she finds it very hard to do what she was doing, for example, like 4 years ago. Like it's become much more, I mean, it's essentially oversaturated, first of all.
Yeah.
And then the algorithm's constantly changing where it wants to produce the best content possible with the people who engage the most. That she's just kind of over it. Like she's
Yeah.
like, I gotta figure out something else. Like I can't rely on this as much as I did before.
Did she ever tell you how much she was making just from the Instagram revenue?
She had it set up where she wasn't actually making too much money in itself.
Yeah.
She would do a few like paid sponsorships where people would pay her to like do like the stupid what is it called like the coffee scrub shower stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So like $100 there, $100 there.
Mm-hmm.
She mostly did it for the like because she was a photographer and I'm not gonna lie, she's very attractive. So she would like reach out to travel destinations that she wanted to travel to
Oh,
and
yeah.
say, I'll take
Nice.
photos, promote it, and then you can use these photos on your website and
Yeah.
your own social media and stuff like that. So she was able to travel the world anytime she wanted, get free lodging at like very nice like hotels and go to like get dinner for free. So the actual value of it is very much tied to like the equivalent of maybe like $50,000 a year. So
Yeah.
I mean, but she wasn't necessarily paid that, but it was worth that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know she sounds like somebody that I'd want on my team, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
you want successful, smart people on your team. Like
She's amazing with content. Like she went to school for journalism, so she knows how to write
perfect.
the captions like instantly. She does great at blogging, like
Yeah.
her own personal blog. Like, and then she's an amazing photographer.
Yep.
So she's got all those things going where she can produce amazing content for people.
Yeah, I'm currently working on a blog. I started it today, like the basic explanation of what SEO is.
Yeah.
And blogging is something that takes time. It's not something that I feel like you can just kind of rush through, because like people are going
It's
to,
a long-term investment.
yeah, if you want good rankings, the content has to be high quality.
Hmm.
And that's only one half of it, is the high
Yeah.
quality content, and then you have to have it be
Optimize it.
relevant, and then it has to rank high in the
Yeah.
first place. You know what I mean? uh,
SEO is such a complex beast. Like that's
I know when I first
it's
got
such a
into
small
SEO,
term.
yeah, I I I had no idea. I thought it was as easy as using Yoast and just setting
Given the
my,
green light.
like, just getting that green light. I was like, yes, this content is gonna be the best, and everyone's gonna see it. And I was confused why no one was seeing it, and I
Yeah.
realized because I had no backlinks. I had I ranked so poorly, and
Yeah.
it's just
That's a struggle. Like that's
it's
one of
what you
those struggles
learn.
like right now where I mean I'm justifying how much time I have on my hands.
Yeah,
Just, I mean, for the people watching this, I've only been around for like 3 months. I only have a handful of clients. I mean, ideally, I would love for my clients to take up most of my schedule. But currently, how I set up my calendar is I'm my own client currently.
mm-hmm.
So I do SEO like I would for as many clients as I like to have, but incorporate it into my own website where I'm trying to generate backlinks. I'm trying to generate blogs, and that stuff. It's hard work. Like
Yeah, yeah, it's
if I
not easy.
had yeah, if I had more than 5 clients, I wouldn't have the time to do that for myself because I mean, that was the struggle I had where I was working before as the digital marketing director.
Yeah.
Like, we'd always want to do stuff for our own website and our own business, but I'd be like, dude, I'm swamped with clients right now. Like, I can't, like,
Mm-hmm.
deviate from their time. They're paying us legitimate money.
Yep.
Like, they're the ones that fund all of this.
Yep.
It's a struggle.
It's a
So, I mean,
balancing act for sure. But I mean, that's like the unrealistic expectation that you get when you work in the corporate in a small business.
mm,
Startup, a small business, somebody who hasn't been like a Fortune 500, who hasn't ran like some, 1,000 employees or anything like that. They overwork one employee and they get away with it every
yeah.
time. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, preaching to a choir on that one.
all right, we kind of went off track, but that's what I love about this.
It's all useful content.
Absolutely.
Especially
Um,
if anyone's listening that's really trying to start doing their own kind of digital marketing thing.
yeah.
Like this
And
is
I'd recommend that anybody who is listening and wants to be a part of this, just message me. The link will be in the bio on YouTube and on in the podcast. So just message me, and Tyler's going to be a frequent guest. I think we agreed on that.
yeah, for sure.
And you'll have a chance to just join and conversate with us about your own experiences, and we would love that
Yeah, I
personally.
mean that's the thing that I didn't really mention on my past is like my old boss was very much in the podcasting world and
Mm.
he would speak to entrepreneurs all the time. And this thing is so beneficial just because you just pick up one little gold nugget out
Yep.
of almost every conversation.
Yeah.
So
100%.
if you're speaking to someone else, like they might have a bunch of gold nuggets and that gold, all those turns into a whole gold bar.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it just creates so much opportunity for just having conversation and dialogue with other people that do what you want to do or what you're currently doing.
I have. Let's see. We're only at 30 minutes. I think we can go for a couple more questions. One of the questions I was curious about was what has been your success with generating a population of people that are interested in your products or your ideas? What are the tools that you use? Is there anything specifically that you want to shout out?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a change of pace because I took what I knew from getting leads painting contractors and tried to apply that to getting leads that are tattoo artists.
Right.
But it's been I was unexpected until I actually tried it out of like what works best. So I've been doing everything: Google ads, Facebook ads. I'm currently working on SEO, but that's not ranking effectively enough for that to actually be a source. But then cold calling, but I've been doing
Yeah,
it through emails.
absolutely.
And surprisingly enough, the personalized messages that I've been like sending out to people that I specifically want to work with, those have seemed to resonated the most, and that's how I've landed the couple clients that I mean, one, I mean, I just helped out because they were doing things really bad, and they're like, okay, someone needs to help us. But this
Right.
other one was someone I messaged, and I was just like, hey, dude, you got a website that works on mobile, like, nice to see that. Not too many other shops have that. Like, I love what you do. You do amazing work. I forgot what else I said in the message, but it was very personalized rather
Right.
than just a template, copy, cut, paste. I mean,
Right.
granted, the first part of all of these messages that I send, they're all templates, copy, pasted, but the second part is always personalized. And that has been currently the most efficient way of like generating leads. I mean, granted, I got other leads from Google Ads. Those have worked as well. I love Google Ads, but it hasn't been the same quality compared to just doing like a cold call or cold email.
Right.
But the thing that I struggle with that though is that's not scalable because that takes time out of my day to
Mm-hmm.
find these people I want to work with, message them, say what I do. That I mean, in the long run, when I get more busier, like that's not going to be something I can take the time out each and every single day to do. It's something I can do just starting off.
Yeah.
So eventually I'll have to fall back on the Facebook ads and Google ads unless who knows. That's the thing that I'm currently trying to decide is the sales is going to be the probably the hardest aspect of running a business.
Yeah.
Like actually doing the work, like that's no problem. I
Right.
enjoy doing that. But trying to generate clients, I mean, I would say just reaching out to people has worked, and that's something that I've learned from like other people who do this sort of thing is that that's how they find success. It's just specifically reaching out to people, saying like, "Hey, this is what I do. This is how I want to help you. These are the results I can give you. Let's set up a time to talk."
Would you say the hustle is real? Like you have to hustle? Like
Yeah, the
it's
hustle is very real. Like
yeah.
like I have it set in my schedule every single day for an hour, or it's not really an hour. Sometimes it takes more, sometimes it takes less, depending on how distracted I get. But it's at least 5 people I'm trying to message every day, just so
Mm-hmm.
that way it's just a constant flow. And then setting up a time to follow up 2 months down, just saying like, hey,
Yep.
sent this last email, trying to give them an offer in that second one, saying like, hey, I got this special promotion, so that way if you're interested,
Yeah. So
you'll get this value.
a call to action and
Exactly.
yeah.
So that's currently been my method of it. I mean, since it's working, I mean, why stop? I mean,
Yeah.
granted, I have everything running. Like that's something I like to say is like, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. It's nice to have every different source possible. So I'm still running Google ads and I'm still doing these cold emails and currently not doing Facebook ads just because of the season that we're in. Like
Right.
social media is kind of a little oversaturated at this time because they're trying to get everyone
Yeah.
to buy for holidays.
Yeah.
But Google Ads is nice just because it's people in that moment specifically. It's specifically tattoo artists searching for a website to be built.
Right.
So I'm going to jump on that opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like I told you earlier today, I was doing verticals all this morning. What I do in my position, because I haven't officially launched yet, is I'm working through my plans, and then I have my vertical sheets. Right now I'm doing real estate, and I have almost 100 contacts. And I was, that what you said actually was the little golden nugget that I needed today, which was I was planning on just emailing them all at the same time. And I don't think that's the way to do it. And now talking to you, I think the best way to do it is I have 100 contacts. So why don't I take the time, 5 people out of the day, and that's, however, do the math. I'm not going to do the math. And
20 days?
25 days. So it's a month of just reaching out to individual people and not bombarding everybody with the same email, allowing me to really focus on an individualized email and make it personal, and maybe that'll get me the sale that I want. Because right now I'm looking for, I have a certain amount of slots, right? It would be nice to get 25 people right off the bat, and if they're paying whatever price, it's going to be $25,000 to $50,000 of monthly revenue right when you open a business. But that would be fucking amazing. You know what I mean?
Fan-fucking-tastic.
I would instantly go hire a secretary or
personal assistant, chef,
like
driver.
I'm rich now. I don't know about you, but like, and then the saddest thing was today that I did the math, and it would take, what was it? it would take more than I was expecting, and I don't remember what the number was. It would take more than I
Yeah,
was
the math is always
expecting.
disappointing.
Yeah, it was like if I hit a certain number, I will only receive 78,000 a year
Yeah, if you hit that number,
if I hit
not
that number.
including the PayPal like fee,
The PayPal
not
fee,
including running a business fee,
yeah,
not
all
including
the
the
business.
dumb taxes.
Yep.
Like it's oh man.
And
Like I said, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
someone told me recently, and I hate when people tell me things and they're so confident about it, but there's no way, maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. That's why I like to do my own research. But somebody told me today that you can only write off $500 in your first year of opening your business, your INE or E&I, right?
That's a bummer if I could do that because
Yeah.
I already spent more than 500.
Exactly. So that's what, like, you find this information out when you're so excited because you're like, oh, I got tax write-offs. Like, I'm good. I'm going to track my miles. I'm going to get, I already did the percentage of my office. I did the percentage of my lights. I did the percentage of my whatever else I'm paying for, my rent. Like, oh man, I'm good to go. I'm going to get my car written off. And then someone comes out and says, yo, you can only write off $500 in your first year. And you're like, bro,
Yeah.
I literally just spent that today. Like,
Yeah, it's very disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, how much like you can actually. I mean, that's the thing is currently I'm operating my business where I have it completely separated. So everything's in one account for business stuff. Everything's in the other account for personal. And that's just going to be one more expense of like talking to a tax person, of like figuring out how to write my taxes.
Yeah. I know. I was talking to an accountant, and they were saying you definitely should have a
Accountant
business.
Amateur hour.
You should have your business account and pay yourself out of your business account. This is like basic information and everything like that. But people should look into different ways of doing it. There's different things, LLC compared to incorporating, and there's different accounts that you can open. There's different ways that you can pay yourself out without avoid taxes. There's a lot of information out there.
Yeah.
And eventually I'd like to create a network, with Meetup, with entrepreneurs that are willing to share this information. Like, hey, did you know that if you do this, you can avoid this? And it's completely legal.
Yeah, those little loopholes, because they're
Yeah.
out there. Like you can find them.
Big businesses. Did you know this? This is actually a fun fact that I learned the other day. You know how big businesses want you to donate to charities every time? Like, hey, can you?
Because it's a tax write-off.
It's a tax write-off. I never knew that. I was so disappointed when I found that out.
Another thing that I found out recently
Yeah.
is, for example, Amazon owns another company. Let's call that Nile. They own Nile. Nile has the intellectual property rights of something that Amazon uses. Amazon pays Nile a dramatic amount of money. Nile is set up in like an offshore account in like the Cayman Islands or something.
Okay.
Amazon has to pay no taxes. I'm a little bit butchering that fucking explanation, but essentially that's how they get around paying taxes.
Yeah.
They own another company that's based offshore, and they just pay them a fuck ton of money for intellectual property rights, and then they don't have to pay anything on top of their. Dude, back to the donations. That's what a lot of really rich people will do. Is they will find an artist, commission that artist to produce a piece of art, get that evaluated as a $1 million piece, and then donate it. And that counts as a freaking donation to write off on taxes.
Yeah, I think I heard that Salvador Dali was like one of the first people that did that. He was like, I guess he was actually a pretty like crazy, rude person, and he didn't give a shit. He would just do whatever.
With all the rich people.
Yeah, rich get rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all right, I think that's good. I think we're gonna end here for the day. I appreciate your time. I'd like to give you however long you want, like to plug your socials one more time, to direct anybody to your personal page. And again, all your information I'll get from you later, and it'll be in the YouTube video or in the podcast. So
cool. Yeah, I mean, that's a weird thing because I'm like currently not trying to go over my socials. It's something I have to do at some point just for that appearance, and like I look through so many like marketing agency Instagrams and like Facebooks, and they got like 200 followers. Like,
Yeah.
who wants to follow an agency? Like, I've been trying to come up with ways to produce content that's not boring. Like, for example, you doing this podcast, like that's amazing content. Like, that's the type of stuff that generates actual interest.
Yeah.
But just like making an infographic about like this is how you rank on SEO or this is how you do an email. Like, no one's going to engage on that on social. Like, that's the stuff that belongs in a blog.
Right.
So currently at the moment, not plugging any socials. You can find me at dos-m.com. Stands for Digitally Optimized Systems to Marketing. I mean, that's pretty much where you'll find everything on that website. I have free resources that I use in my own business. I like to spread as much information as possible. I like to tell people that I'm your go-to digital guide. So if you have any questions with something like just what can I do to like reduce the amount of emails that I have to manage? Like that's what I'm there for. It's beyond just marketing. It's beyond just websites. It's the whole digital aspect of running a business. So you can find me there. Pleasure, Matt. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me as the first guest of your podcast. This is
Absolutely.
exciting.
Tyler, thank you. And we will see you again multiple times. So don't be shy and come back. Okay.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you guys. This has been Deep Root Podcast, a business podcast, a business entrepreneur podcast. And we thank you. We'll see you next time. If we
I'll
capture
start
anything.
recording then. Here's me in my natural habitat. The intro video. What does Tyler do when no one's watching? Well, the cameras would not be turned on for that. I'm hardcore because I use toothpicks. I can tie a toothpick in a knot.
I was over at a friend's house playing Magic, and he puts on Ash Nico Stupid, which I thought was very funny.
I tied a toothpick in a knot in my mouth.
That's pretty dope.
I was doing that for the recording.
But
before
now
we got back.
all right, now we're good.
Better than a cherry stem.
Okay. All right, so this is gonna